Would you risk everything to save a lioness in peril? When Ranger Michael stumbles upon her, trapped inside a rusted steel pipe, he knows time is running out. But with her protective pride lurking nearby, one wrong move could cost him his life. Can he gain her trust and set her free before it's too late? Beneath the scorching African sun, the savannah stretched endlessly, golden grasses rippling in the dry wind. The patrol vehicle rumbled over the dusty ground, its tires churning out clouds of red earth. Michael Bennett, a veteran wildlife ranger, had spent years navigating this harsh terrain, his eyes as sharp as a hawk's, scanning for any sign of trouble. Poachers, injured animals, and sudden dangers were all part of the job. But today something felt off. A quiet unease tugged at the edge of his instincts. Then he heard it, a sound so faint it could have been mistaken for the wind. But it wasn't. It was a whimper, weak, desperate, barely rising above the dry, brittle air. Michael slammed on the brakes, a cloud of dust swirling around the vehicle. "Did you hear that?" he asked, glancing at his younger partner, Miles. Miles frowned, tilted his head to listen, then slowly nodded. "Sounds like an animal in distress." Without another word, Michael grabbed his gear and stepped out, his boots crunching against the brittle grass. The faint cries guided them deeper into the bush, weaving past thorny acacia trees and scattered boulders. And then they saw her, a lioness, her tawny coat coated in dust, her body quivering with exhaustion. But what struck Michael most was her eye wedged deep inside the rusted opening of an old steel pipe. The lioness let out a low growl, a guttural tremor that spoke of desperation. Her body taut wire of fear, one of her golden eyes, usually a beacon of predatory power, was now trapped a captive of a rusted metal pipe. The jagged edges cutting into her delicate skin, blood a star crimson against her sun-kissed fur, trickled down her cheek, staining her once pristine coat. She had likely been struggling for hours, perhaps even days, her once formidable strength ebbing away with each futile attempt to free herself. "Dan," Miles whispered, his voice laced with a raw mix of pity and frustration. "How did she get stuck like this?" Michael knelt down, his movements slow and deliberate, careful not to startle the already traumatized creature. Old construction site debris. He surmised, his gaze tracing the cruel edges of the pipe, probably sniffed inside looking for food or water, and got stuck. The lioness let out a soft whimper, a heart-wrenching sound, pain, exhaustion, and fear woven into a single fragile note. But what made Michael's stomach tighten, a cold dread creeping up his spine, was something else entirely, a low rumble. A primal vibration that resonated through the very ground beneath them. He turned his head slowly, his eyes scanning the horizon just a few hundred feet away, hidden in the swaying, tall grass. Golden eyes watched them, unwavering and intense. Not one pair, but several, a lion pride silent signals their presence. A stark reminder of the wild's unforgiving nature and the precariousness of their own intervention. The lions didn't charge, not yet, but Michael knew that could change in an instant. The pride was anxious, their ears twitching, their tails flicking. This lions belonged to them. If they sensed a threat, they wouldn't hesitate to defend her. "Moved too fast and we're dead," Michael muttered. Miles swallowed hard. "So what's the plan?" Michael took a slow breath, forcing himself to stay calm. "We get her out, and we do it carefully." He reached for the water canteen and poured some onto a cloth. Then, keeping his movements slow and deliberate, he approached the lioness. "It's okay, girl," he murmured, dabbing around her eye, clearing away the blood and dust. She flinched, but didn't resist. "I know it hurts. We're gonna fix this." The lioness let out a tired huff, her body sagging slightly. She was still terrified, but she was letting him help. "We can't just pull her free," Michael said, his voice a low, urgent murmur, his eyes tracing the cruel geometry of the trapped eye. "Will tear her eye out, a permanent scar on a life already too hard." Miles, the reality of their precarious situation sinking in. "Then what do we do?" Michael ran his fingers along the pipe, feeling its corroded edges, the rough texture, a grim reminder of time and neglect. "We cut the pipe carefully. One wrong move, a slip of the hand, and we'll injure her permanently, or worse." Miles, understanding the gravity of the moment, sprinted back to the vehicle, a desperate dash against the encroaching tension to grab the metal cutter. Meanwhile, Michael knelt, his posture a blend of reverence and resolve, whispering to the lioness, his voice steady, his touch gentle, a silent language of comfort. Then from behind a deep guttural growl, a primal warning that vibrated through the air. Michael turned his head slowly, his gaze meeting the burning amber eyes of a male lion who had stepped forward, his muscles a silent declaration of territorial defense. Michael called, his voice calm but firm. A seasoned command honed by years in the wild. "We don't have much time." The cutter roared to life. A mechanical growl against the natural symphony of the savannah. Sparks flew, tiny bursts of defiance against the encroaching darkness. As Miles began slicing through the metal, each cut a delicate dance with danger. The noise made the lioness tremble, a visceral fear, but Michael kept a firm hand on her, whispering reassurances, a promise against the encroaching threat. Almost there, the male lion took another step forward, his posture a silent threat, the rest of the pride following their eyes, reflecting the tension. "Come on, come on," Michael muttered, his voice of prayer. Finally, the last section of metal gave way. Michael grabbed the edges, his hand steady and carefully widened the opening. The lioness whimpered, hesitated, her body trembling with a mix of fear and relief, then pulled back, her head free. Her eyes spared. She was free. A fragile victory against the encroaching darkness. The lioness staggered to her feet, blinking rapidly, her injured eye watering, a testament to the pain she'd endured for a heartbeat. She stood there disoriented, uncertain of her surroundings. Then a deep roar. A primal declaration filled the air, shattering the tent. Silence. The male lion charged, his powerful frame a blur of motion. Michael yelled, his voice raw with urgency, shoving Miles aside as they scrambled backward. A desperate retreat against the impending threat. The lioness, dazed, but no longer trapped, turned her head just in time, her instincts kicking in. With a sudden burst of adrenaline-fueled strength, she leaped away just as the male lunged past her, his massive paws kicking up dirt and dust. A near miss that left Michael's heart pounding for a moment. Suspended in the chaos, Michael thought they were done for, their intervention about to turn into a fatal error. But then something remarkable happened. A shift in the primal narrative. The male lion skidded to a stop, his nostrils flaring as he sniffed the lions, his senses gathering information beyond the immediate threat. She let out a weak but familiar growl, a call of recognition, a bond spoken in the language of the wild. And just like that, the tension shattered, the air clearing like a storm. Passing, the lion nuzzled her face, licking her wound, as if inspecting the damage. This touch, surprisingly gentle, the rest of the pride joined, surrounding her, accepting her back into their fold. A silent, powerful reunion. Michael let out a long, shaky breath, the weight of the moment settling. "Guess we passed the test," he said, his voice laced with relief and a profound respect for the delicate balance of the wild. The lions turned, her gaze locking onto Michael. It wasn't gratitude, not in the sentimental way. Humans might understand it, but this was something deeper, something primal. A silent acknowledgement, a fleeting recognition of a moment shared across the divide between species. Then, without a backward glance, she turned and followed her pride into the bush, vanishing into the golden grass like a phantom fading into the heart of the savannah. Miles let out a laugh, shaky, but genuine, a release of tension after the raw intensity of the moment. "Think she'll be okay?" he asked. Michael nodded, his eyes fixed on the fading silhouettes. "She's a fighter. She'll heal. The wild has its own way of mending." As they packed up their gear and climbed back into the vehicle, the dust rose around them like lingering memories, swirling in the golden light of dusk. Michael cast one final glance over the savannah as the sun dipped low, bathing the land in shades of orange and crimson, colors born of struggle and survival. The wild was fierce, unforgiving, and deeply humbling, a realm that offered no guarantees. But today, they had made a difference, a single act of compassion woven into the vast, untamed fabric of nature. And out here, in the heart of the wilderness, that was enough. If this powerful rescue moved you, let it be a reminder of what empathy can achieve. What do you think of this story? Let us know in the comments section. I hope you like this story. Please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also subscribe and press the bell icon to never miss the update from our channel. Thank you.